Hi guys, welcome back. So we are doing one of those routine maintenance jobs that forever crops up, particularly if you drive a lot on country roads, changing a rear drop link. Now if you've ever heard a clonk or a bonk as you've gone over a speed bump, chances are either your front or rear drop link has failed. And what these are is just a metal bar with a ball end at each end, and these ball ends are supposed to be nice and stiff. But if they take too much violence from rough road surfaces and so on, or a little bit of enthusiasm going over speed bumps and the like, these ball joints can fail, and at that point they start rattling around. And the purpose of this is to stop the body of the car rolling. They're called anti-roll bars. This is the roll bar that joins both sides together. It's the same on the front. This is one of the many jobs where you actually work against yourself if you lift the wheel up. So unless you're working with a 4-post lift, these ones are easier done on the ground. As you can see from this one, it lines up nicely with the existing piece. Bit of fiddling required to get it in. There's a few tricks for that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off by applying a bit of heat to these. Be very, very careful not to melt your CV boot. That's a rubber boot behind here. So if you are using a blowtorch, in here I'm using a MAP gas torch just to give it some real heat, and be super careful with not blasting that. Both sides, doesn't matter if you melt the rubber on the old drop link, because that's going in the bin anyway. And then I'm going to put some penetrating oil on, just normal penetrating oil, and let it sit for 5 minutes. So heat and penetrating oil, so then and only then we attack it with an impact driver. So we're giving ourselves the best fighting chance from the start. Super easy, here we go. We wait. Now these things are a bit notorious for causing problems when you're trying to take them off, which is why garages will often quote you in the region of about an hour to get these things sorted out. Now I fixed the one on the other side of this vehicle in, well, look at the short, I'll link it in the description, less than a minute. But they can be a bit fiddly. Now this one here, I have locked this vice grip onto the ball at the back. That's going to help me in a sec. I've doused this now a couple of times with penetrating oil to give the threads as much help as they can to free up, because for sure this is going to be rusted solid. You'll notice on the end of here there is a Torx bit, T30 in this case. I could, in a scrape, put a ring spanner on one side, lock the centre with the Torx and turn in opposite directions. If you're in a situation where you need to do that, my advice, take it to a garage. Seriously, it's just not worth the hassle. You can do it, but they always tear out in the middle. It's a horrible job to do unless you got it up on a lift. So if you don't have an impact driver, think seriously about getting one, or take the job to someone who's got one already. So just to recap, plenty of oil, plenty of heat. Go in with all guns blazing from the start. Don't do it in stages, otherwise you just make a headache for yourself as you round the nut off. Impact drive all the way. Wind it in as well as out. That's coming loose now. Just to help it on its way, a bit more heat. Be prepared in case this sets the oil you've already put on fire. It might not. But go in all guns blazing, otherwise this will take you all day. There it is, it's off. What a monumental pain in the arse. Right, so that's the trick. You basically, persistence pays off, but give yourself a good fighting chance. Oil, heat, blast it first. Grab it from the back so that once it actually finally breaks the grip of the nut, it can actually eventually spin off. And don't be surprised if as part of removing the nuts you have to actually drive them back on and off and on and off and on and off to break through the rust. that are sitting on the end. If you look up at this one up here, which is the next target, very dirty threads you can see there, so I'm going to go at that with a wire brush before I attack that one. Okay, so just a little wire brush here to get the worst of the crud off these threads. And as before, blast of heat, avoiding the CV boot. More oil, and then a clamp on the back to lock it all tight if necessary. So these are 18s coming off, the 19s going back on. Just as point of note, make sure you've got all the right sockets. Oh, so close. Oh, we won. About time too. Okay, so there's a little trick for refitting these. You want the top one to be at a very slight angle, not perpendicular. So we're going to go in and behind, line that up, and then bring the bottom one in and just push this bar down a little to fit that one. This aftermarket component here comes with stainless nylon locking nuts, so it should be a darn sight easier to get it out next time. They're 19s, the ones that came off were 18s. It's going to be different for yours, I'm absolutely certain of that, but you know, whatever you can get, just make sure you have the sockets handy. So I'm going to need to flip over here to a 19, but fortunately, because the balls on this particular fitting are in good shape, I should be able to just drive this straight on. There it is, job done. So with this job, removal is the pain. So to recap, go in with everything you've got straight away. Penetrating oil, heat, penetrating oil, heat, penetrating oil, heat. Was it on, was it off, was it on, was it off, and then just a little bit more each time. Every time you whiz it back on, spray a bit of oil. Whiz it back out, whiz it back on, a bit more oil, and just keep on going. It's a messy job, it's a noisy job, but that has just saved me an hour of labour, which over here is about 50 quid right now, so every penny counts. So that's it for today, guys. Hope that's been useful. Leave your comments down below as always. Don't forget to subscribe if this is your kind of content, and I will see you next time. Take it easy.